You want to know something crazy? A lot of brands think that to get sales on TikTok, all they have to do is just start posting every day and they'll get Gen Z customers. Then they get surprised when they only see double-digit views on all of their videos. Yes, we did analyze millions of signals to understand what is working in marketing for Gen Z, but I want you to also think about it practically. If a brand takes their daily product photos, flat lay images, and posts them on TikTok every day, do you really expect it to perform as well as an influencer's random impromptu piano duet in a mall full of strangers? No, of course not, because TikTok was not designed for generic content. This mismatch is one tiny example in this massive sea of problems that people have when they market to Gen Z. And a lot of people think that just because their sales numbers are flat with this demographic that Gen Z just doesn't buy as much as the other generations do. But that is a huge lie. Gen Z is the fastest growing digital buyer group and more willing to switch brands if they see another one that better aligns with their values, how they feel. The fact is you can sell to them relatively easily. All you have to do is cut the BS, build some trust, and tick off a few of the boxes I'm going to run through in this video. So if you want to grow your brand, sell more profitable trending products, or just learn about what trends are driving Gen Z sales in 2026, I'm going to run through a few very crucial things that you need to know first. First off, I think it's important that we acknowledge that Gen Z is now 25% of the global population. Nielsen IQ also projects that their spending power is going to reach $12 trillion by 2030. But the short-term picture is more complex than the long-term headline. Gen Z is optimistic, they're digitally active, but still super selective on what they're purchasing. Getting them to whip out a credit card in 2026 is going to be a lot less on broad reach and more on super relevance. And again, it's important to reiterate, Gen Z is willing to switch brands. They're not so reliant on grandfather brands the way that older generations are. So if you want them to switch to you and your brand, this video is for you. So why is the old way of marketing not working with Gen Z? And the answer is pretty basic. And the first part of it is trust. They don't trust ads. They don't trust most brands. And for good reason. McKinsey even reported that in the US and in Europe, consumers say that social media is their least trusted source of information when they're making buying decisions. My first pro tip here, studies show that people trust reviews as much as recommendations from friends or family. So make sure wherever you're selling, you have a ton of reviews from your customers, real reviews. People see through fake reviews. And ideally, you want your score to be around 4.5, 4.6. Gen Z is also less trusting of influencers who are constantly pushing products because it feels fake. The second weak point is the promotional format. Sprout Social reports that Gen Z doesn't care about product-centric posts or forced authenticity. Basically, they can see through the BS. What they really favor is originality in a brand. The old e-com model was built on repetitive product ads, fake UGC-style clips, and discount codes that are thrown out left and right. And those assets, those routes may still get clicks, but that doesn't mean anything when compared to conversions. The next weak point is channel behavior. 89% of Gen Z still prefer Google over other platforms, but 25% say TikTok is effective for finding information. 38% said Reddit is as useful as a search engine, and 12% said they're more likely to rely on GPT than Google. This pattern just shows us that Gen Z is fragmenting where they're getting their information. So it's not just Facebook ad, product page, purchase. Gen Z discovery is distributed across social feeds, forum-style communities, video search, AI interfaces, peer-created content. Now let's talk about what's working to get Gen Z customers right now, so that you can walk away from this video with an actual list of action items. First, you have to understand and remember that Gen Z is almost certainly going to discover about you and your products, your brand, through social media. Sprout Social says for Gen Z, TikTok is their favorite channel for product discovery, closely followed by Instagram. And the old way of working is assuming that somebody's going to get on Google and search for best leggings for hot yoga. But in reality, they're putting that into TikTok search. Another pro tip, test TikTok search ads. Because when somebody goes and puts that long tail keyword into TikTok, you can actually show up as an ad, exactly matching what they're looking for before they even hit search. In 2025, 29% of people said they had discovered a product through an influencer on social media. HubSpot also found that 45% of Gen Z and millennials consider themselves influencers or content creators. Another really crucial trend for this year is embedded social commerce. Sprout Social reports that 48% of Gen Z are most likely to buy through TikTok Shop, followed by Instagram Shops and Facebook Shops. So that might mean instead of Shopify, you're selling your products directly through these social media markets. You really have to remember here, though, that for Gen Z, content functions as search. They're one and the same now. Adobe reports that Gen Z uses TikTok instead of traditional search in its short-form format, 26%, storytelling at 21%, and interactive experiences at 17%. It also found that users most prefer video tutorials, product reviews, and personal stories when they're using TikTok as a search engine. So another tip here is for your organic content, make sure it's valuable, no matter what. Make sure the person who watches it is going to get something that they can walk away with. That could be a comparison between two products. It could be a try it on with me. It could be before and after. Either way, make sure it's something that's actually giving them value. And it seems crazy to have to say that, but entertaining is a lot harder than actually just giving people value. And lastly, I want to take a look at what the future of Gen Z marketing might look like based on what we've seen already. The most likely outcome in the short term is that acquisition is going to become less campaign-based and more system-based. And again, Gen Z is more willing to switch between brands, and they're splitting the way they search for products and brands across all these different social channels and AI platforms. The winning brands in 2026 are not going to rely on a single campaign. So please stop paying out the ass for expensive production companies and overpriced ad agencies. So what's more likely to work? Social search content libraries, fast feedback to people's comments, more saves, more product page behavior. For you, again, that means make more educational content. It is really that simple. Another pro tip is that make sure wherever you're actually selling your product page is extremely filled with FAQs and long tail keywords. This is basically to help GPT, Perplexity, Claude, all these AI platforms find your brand and recommend your brand. I go into this more in my last video about advertising trends for 2026. If you haven't seen that, definitely go check it out. In 2026, you also have to realize that the lines between content, search, and storefront are going to get really blurry. Social content is already leading discovery, and now people are going to be able to buy right in the app. Given that almost half of Gen Z is going to buy through social platforms like TikTok and Instagram, your videos on social media start to replace your website's product page. So another tip, go and look at your product pages. Think, how can I translate this information into an interactive educational video that actually provides value? And again, you're not going after everybody here. The video that I'm making right now, if you're watching this, you are probably looking for something around e-commerce, trending products, getting Gen Z customers. If somebody's only looking for videos on Minecraft, then they're not going to be in my audience. Really think, how can you speak to one customer? In 2026, your strongest acquisition channel is going to look something like this: creator video, native comment validation, in-platform product page, direct checkout. And again, on those product pages, make sure you got tons of objection handling done. Think, if you're selling hiking boots, one of the common concerns might be, how are these boots for somebody who needs more arch support? Or how is the compression in the sole of the boot? Write out answers to all these questions, including the question itself. Also remember this, it's a simple lesson, but it's an important one that 90% of brands do forget. Gen Z cares more about originality than they do frequency. You can post every day, you could post every hour, but if your content is generic, it doesn't matter. Let's take a look at an example. So this chef makes videos where he reacts to recipe videos of amateur cooks. All of his videos look and sound almost the same. He's got this sharp, witty humor, and most importantly, this very consistent voice. I honestly don't know if he's selling something, but that's not the point. He has such a clear-cut and consistent theme across his videos, which is why people keep coming back. That is how you cut through the noise of all of these millions of new content creators and AI slop videos that are flooding your feeds. Think about it like a psychologist. This generation is absolutely slammed with content left and right. Recognizability lowers cognitive load and improves recall. Overall, the solution is simple. Plan to sell your products directly inside the apps, create plenty of educational, original content, no fluff, and if you're looking to sell any specific products in any niche, just comment that niche below and I'll drop you some products that are trending in our database right now. Thank you so much for watching. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, or you might not see my face again, and you're going to want to because I've got a lot more trends on marketing and advertising that are going to win big in 2026.